am right now. Well, good afternoon. This is Mike Marshev, and I've been talking with some of the attendees for the last 15 minutes, doing sound checks, doing screen checks. That's what you do when you're in this business. And I want to thank you for your support. Thank you for coming in. And I have a lot of material I want to cover today. And I mentioned to the group earlier, if we get a echo or a problem, not to worry. I'll redo this, upload it to Travel Institute, so they will the Travel Institute, so they will be able to give you the link, and you won't miss a thing. So let's get started. But before we do, I want to hit you with what's called a nugget. This is a nugget of information. It has nothing to do with the program, but I want to tell you how you ended up on the line today, and it's a very important and valuable lesson. Uh, I better back up a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. Mike Marshev is my name. I've been in the business about 1,000 years. I write for the industry. I talk with the industry. I share information with the industry. I've been in the industry since 1984, so I know a little bit about it. Hey, I have a CTC. There you go. And I wanted to share some information that I received this year thanks to the London Olympics. So back to the nugget. Leverage. The concept is leverage. I received an email 2 weeks ago, and it got me thinking. And immediately I produced a webinar on strategies that I learned from the Olympics. So I sent it out to my email database, and I had about 100 people sign up, and we had a good time on the webinar. So I produced it, I did it, I rehearsed it, I presented it, and it worked. Well, here's where leverage comes in. I said to myself, who else could I use this finished product? Who else could I offer this finished product to? So I called up some people I knew in the industry, the Travel Institute. I called up Carl and I said, hey, do you want to present this to your group? And she said, yes. I had already done the program for my own group, but I leveraged it over to the Travel Institute, and I leveraged it to a couple other groups as well. The product was done. The rehearsal was done. It was finished. It was complete. I said, who else? And people raised their hand. Now, this is where you come in. When you have a successful group, a successful travel night or a cruise night, or a successful proposal or a successful honeymoon, whatever you do that's successful, after it's finished, after it's completed, after you get the kudos, then say to yourself, who else can I offer this product to, this service to? And by asking yourself that question, you're going to come up with another 5, 10, 15, 20 names of people you could introduce the service or the product or the experience to, and there's a good chance that they will take advantage of it. So rather than just, hey, I did something good once, what else can I do tomorrow? Leverage your success. And that is gonna come back as an Olympic message later on in the program. But I wanted to start that off and tell you how you ended up on the phone today. So with that, now let me go to the next slide. And when you do that, just so you know, and you don't move a slide, there it is there. I want to hit you with some breaking news right up front that if you came here this afternoon, or this afternoon, if you're looking for a fancy PowerPoint slideshow, I am afraid you came to the wrong place. Reason being, because I'm not very graphically attuned. I don't pretend I am. I don't put a lot of stock in PowerPoints. The messages are here, but we'll give ourselves a little thumbs up, three ring sign, nice PowerPoint, Mike. But if you came here for this, you came to the wrong place. What we're going to talk about is Olympic strategies, and the important part, the connection, is how they relate to your business. This is not about sport. It's about your business. It's about eating regularly. I want you to connect with my thoughts and connect them to how you run your business. Now, I'm not going to teach you social networking today. I'm not going to teach you sales or marketing or customer service. I'm going to stimulate your thinking using the recent Olympics in London as our jumping off point. That's what we're going to do today. But let's see how you get to become an Olympic athlete. There's a three-step process to greatness. And we know these people, these youngsters, they're the best in the business. We emulate them. We put them up on pedestals. An Olympic athlete. I can't think of a greater thrill than to be sent to the Olympics with the country on the name of the country you're from written on your back, and you go to the Olympics to represent your country. I just can't think of a greater thrill that would be. And you just don't decide overnight to become an Olympic athlete. You just don't decide overnight to become successful in business. It takes time. It takes study. It takes practice. It takes failure. It takes coaching. There's a lot of things that go into becoming an Olympic athlete. Forget about winning medals, just becoming that caliber of athlete. And the first thing you do is you make a decision. I'm going to become an Olympic athlete, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to pay the price. I'm going to do the homework. I'm going to eat. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to study. I'm going to rehearse. I'm going to be coachable. I'm going to do whatever it takes to become an Olympic athlete. And I'm going to make that decision. And then you're going to make it a mission that nothing is going to get in my way. I have made a decision. I'm going to become an Olympic athlete. You have made a decision. You are going to be successful in business, whatever your definition of success is. And you're going to do whatever it takes, and nothing's going to stop you from achieving that dream. That's how you become an Olympic athlete. You make a decision, and then you make it a mission. And if you want to be successful in business, and we know how hard it is in business today, we know the competition out there is intense. We know it's not easy. But it's not easy to become an Olympic athlete, and yet that's what we want to be. We want to be the best in our industry, the best in our business, the best in our sport. We want to represent our country. We want to be the best business we can absolutely be. And it takes a decision, and it takes a mission. And then that's all lip service so far. That's all a mind game. Now we have to put the walk to the talk. We have to take focused action. Focused. We have to take focused action every single day, like a laser, in order to master the skills. And that's how you're going to become successful in business. You're going to make a decision that you want to become successful. You're going to make it a mission. Nothing's going to get in your way. And then you're going to take the appropriate steps, be it reading, be it studying, being going and asking questions and seminars and workshops, and then you're going to practice out in the field, and you're going to fall off the balance beam, and you're going to get back up again, and that's how it's going to work. And don't think I'm being foolish, because I'm not. I watch the Olympics, either the winter or the summer. I get so excited because that's life unfolding in front of our very eyes. That's exactly what it is. There's no guarantees, and these kids give up 8 years of their life, or 4 years, or whatever, between games. They practice for 4 years. They give up their social life. They give up their regular being, because that's what they want to do. They made a decision to become an Olympic athlete, and they then paid the price. Now, I want you to understand this before we really get into the program today, and that is, you are a magnet, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake about it. You either attract people to you in your business, or you repel them. You either attract them or you repel them. And why are we attracted to Olympic athletes? There's not a person on the line today who has said, hey, look over there. There's an Olympic athlete. Let's run away from him. I mean, you don't do that. We run to Olympic athletes. We're sucked to them. We want to touch them. We want their autograph. We want to talk to them. Why? Because we know they paid the price. We know how good they are. And we want to be near good people. And people want to be near you if you're good, and if you're the best, and if you're fun to be around. And if they know you paid your price, and they know you know your business, you're going to attract people to you. But you're not going to attract them if you don't know your business, or if you look aloof, or you guess, or you're not self-confident. It's not going to happen. So just remember that you have the power of a magnet, and you want to attract people to you. Now, when I do this, okay, there you go. Nugget number one: get this straight, get it early. The name of the game. I don't care if you're selling honeymoons or groups or the FITs or whatever you do. You're in the marketing business. You're not going to succeed without playing the marketing game. And the marketing game is where the action is. It's not hard, and it can and should be fun, where you're not making it fun necessarily, but it should be fun, and it's the answer. And so, one of the reasons you're having trouble with it is because you don't know the definition of marketing. A lot of people confuse it. But marketing is nothing more, nothing less than getting the right people, not people, the right people. Getting the right people, the designated people, the targeted people, the people you want to do business with, to know you, to like you, and then to trust you. That's the game of marketing. How can we get the right people to know us, number one? Because if I don't know you, I can't possibly do business with you. I can't say yes or no to you because I don't know you exist. I don't even know you're alive. So we got to get people to know we're alive and to know us and then to like us. We don't want to repel them. We want to attract them to us. And over time, and unfortunately, that's what it takes, over time, to trust us. That's the game of marketing, and that's the game you're playing. And we have to make it simple. Too many people today think they have to complicate things. It is not complicated, but we make it complicated. This is one of my favorite magazine covers of Business Week many years ago, but it was about Ivory Soap, Procter and Gamble, and they you go buy a bar of soap. There's 8 billion choices. When you buy soap, you can't buy a bar of soap without more information because soap isn't soap. All I want to do is wash my hands. Can you give me a bar of soap? Well, that depends. I have 85,000 different questions to ask you. You want yellow soap? You want pink soap, day soap, night soap, Tuesday soap? You want soap with the color, without the color, with the flavor, without the aroma? I mean, there's just so much going on there. How about Tylenol? Go buy some Tylenol. I have a headache. Go buy some Tylenol. You can't do that. There's day Tylenol, PM, AM, Tuesday, with this, with that, with caffeine. I mean, we make it complicated. And your job is to make it easy. Make it easy to do business with you. Easy to call you, easy to ask questions, easy to work with you. That's what we want to do is we want to become not wishy-washy, but we want to become easy to do business with, not difficult. And that's why we end up going to the internet because people are making it too difficult. It shouldn't be difficult, but that's what we do. Okay, we're almost getting ready to begin here, but I want to remind you that there's two types of people. If you understand this, your life will become instantly easier. If that's, I don't even know if that's English, but let's go with it. Nugget. There are only two types of people in the entire world. There's 7 billion people out there. Since I was born in 1949, the population of the world has doubled. There was about 3 billion when I came in. Now there's 7 billion. Holy cow. Well, that's why the world is complicated, because people are complicated and there's a zillion of them. But I simplify my life and I cut those 7 billion into two types. There's only two types. People I can help and people I can't help. That's it. 7 billion people fall into one of two types. Either I can help you or I can't help you. And once you understand that, once you get that into your DNA, your life's going to become easy, because your frustration is coming when you're trying to talk people that don't want your help, don't need your help, don't even like you in the first place. You're trying to talk them into helping them. And I'm saying don't do that. Go find the people who want your help. And you say, well, I don't know. How do you do that? Well, I would think, I'm not sure, but I think everybody on the phone today has at least one customer. So go find out why they chose you. Talk to your customer. They'll tell you what's good about you. And then go find more of them. So your number one problem is not enough people know you're alive. So we have to go out and tell the right people that we're alive. Not enough people know us. So we have to be visible. We have to get out in the marketplace. We have to send emails and call people and have seminars and have webinars and let people know that you're alive, because then they'll decide if they like us or not and then trust us or not. But let's assume for the moment that the people do know you. Well, you may be boring them to tears. I don't know if you're laughing or not. I can't hear you. But that's what happens to people. Ladies and gentlemen, be you. Bring your personality to the game. You can't screw that up. You can't screw being you up. You are who you are. Be you. Bring your personality. I mean, I joke with people on live programs. I say, how many people have dogs? And they all, most people raise their hand, or pets or cats or chipmunks or whatever they have. And I said, how many people have ever talked to your dog, glad that nobody heard you talk to your dog? Because we have a language of our own with our loved ones or with our pets. And that's because we're human. You're dealing with humans, and they're just like you. And sometimes they act goofy. And sometimes they get upset for no reason. And sometimes they even become jerks. So do we. So do I. So do you. But they're human. Bring your personality to the game and don't bore people. That's the lesson there. So here we go. The Olympics. I love the Olympics. I was glued to my TV every night because there's no guarantees in the Olympics. You work hard, you practice hard, you give it your best shot. Hey, we're going to see what happens. I love that. So here's a couple of lessons that I want to share with you before we go into the Olympics lives. Number one, the start. The start is so important. The way you get out of the blocks. There's some of those events are so quick, like the 100-yard dash or the 100-meter dash. If you don't start, you don't have time to make up for a lousy start. The start is very important. How you start your day, how you start your week, how you start your email, how you start your sales letters. How you start is so very, very important when you're competing against world-class competitors. And also, not only how you start, how you finish. I mean, it's not a three-quarter race. You're not finished until you run through that finish line, through you get to the end of the race. Olympic athletes, they finish what they start. They don't quit. You start and you finish. You start a project, you finish a project. And while I'm on that, starting, they say first impressions are lasting. But I don't think that's true. I think first impressions are very, very important. That's the start. But I think lasting impressions are what last. That's the finish. In other words, you've met somebody who entered your world with a good first step in an interview and you like them. And then over time, you realize that they're really not squared away people. See, that's the finish. So the first impressions are important, but last impressions, how you leave people, that's really important. And we learn about winning. Sometimes the ones who are supposed to win, and sometimes the ones who aren't not supposed to win. And the same thing with losing. But we learn that as good as we are, as fast as we don't always win all the time. And you're not going to win the accounts all the time, and you're going to deserve it, but you're not going to win. That's called emotional intelligence, and you're going to lose a lot. But if you go into this game of business knowing that the start's important, the finish is more important, you're going to win, you're going to lose, you're in the game. You got those Olympic rings on your back. You're in the game of business. That's really cool. That's where it's at. So you're going to win, you're going to lose. And you need discipline. You need discipline because sometimes you're going to want to slow down. You're going to want to quit. You're going to want to look at that little Olympic girl, Gabby. She wanted to quit a month before the Olympics. She wanted to quit. She was just going to give up. And her friend there, who she lived with in Ohio, talked her out of it. She lived with a family in Ohio, I think, or Pennsylvania, somewhere out there. But discipline. Discipline yourself. If your work week is Monday through Friday, you work Monday through Friday. If you're going to call up 5 people a day, call 5 people a day. If you're going to write one thank you note every Friday, write one thank you note every Friday. Be disciplined because that's what athletes are. Not all athletes, Olympic athletes are disciplined, and so are you. And they take a risk. Boy, they put it on the line. The whole world is watching. And look at the hurdler. They jump out of the blocks. They hit the first hurdle and fall down. That's a risk. How would you feel if that you practice 4 years? You're the best in the country. We send you over to London. You start your race and you fall down, or you jump up on the diving board and hit your head on the diving board. I mean, that's what happens. Or you serve and you serve out of bounds, unforced error, and you lose. That's what happens. You're taking a risk. Well, business is a risk. There are no guarantees in business. But boy, I just take my hat off to you folks because you're putting it on the line. You're not going to win if you don't play. And you're out there playing and you're going to win, you're going to lose. And we have to be consistent. And that comes with practice. And that comes with failing. And that comes with tweaking. And then we repractice again, and we watch the films, and we audio tape ourselves, and we keep getting better. Why? Because we want to be that Olympic caliber. There's so many people in business today that don't care. They don't want to be the best. And guess what? They're not, because they don't pay the price. And then we have to be patient, because it's not going to happen overnight. We have to get people to know us, which takes time, to like us, which takes time, and to trust us, that takes time. That's what we have to do, and it does take time. Hey, while I think of it right now, something just popped into my head. Write this URL down. It's www.mikemarshev.com/Olympics. Okay, mikemarshev.com/Olympics. Write that down, and you'd be wise to click it sooner rather than later. I click that URL. What's going to happen is I'm going to send you instantaneously, after you give me your name, a report called the 12-word marketing plan, just as a bonus for coming in. If I don't tell you now, I'm going to forget. MikeMarshev.com/Olympics. No operator standing by. It'll come right into your email box. Put it into a file, save it, read it. You'll like it. It'll help you improve your business. It's a fun 10-page report. It was 58 pages, but a friend of mine said no one's going to read 58, so I condensed it down to 10, hoping that you'll read it. MikeMarshev.com/Olympics. Send for that. You'll like it. Okay. Coaching. Not only coaching, but all Olympic athletes have coaches. And everyone who's really good has a coach, from the NFL to baseball to celebrities to people on Broadway, voice coaches. They all have coaches. And there's a reason for it we're going to touch on later. But more than coaching, you have to be coachable. You have to be receptive to input that maybe is not a pat on the head. Maybe it's a correction. Maybe it's a suggestion. Maybe it's a recommendation on ways you can get better. But as adults, we all want to hear how good we are, how great we are, how cool we are. And to be the best, we have to put that ego aside and say, hey, how can I get better? Can you help me get better at what I'm doing? And in your case, hey, let's face it. You go to the Olympics and you get a gold medal and you hang it around your neck, and that's great and that's fun, and I can't think of anything cooler. But the Olympics that you're in means you're going to eat regularly for the rest of your life. Now, to me, eating regularly for the rest of your life has a little more juice than a gold medal. I mean, it's nice to get the gold medal, but you can't, that's not going to sustain you for very long. So you're in the real game. Practice. You've got to practice all the time. And speaking of practice, I'm going to ask you a question right now. And I don't mean to embarrass anybody, but I can't embarrass you because you don't know who you are out there, and I don't know who you are, so no one's going to get embarrassed. But what book, no, let me correct that. What books, plural, are you reading that are nonfiction that are helping you build your business? Here's a question for you. What are you reading to help yourself? Nonfiction. To learn people better, to learn travel better, to learn the world better. Is there some book you're reading or books you're reading to help you become better at what you do? I hope so. I don't think so, but I hope so. Nutrition. We're in a Me Too industry, folks. You don't own a ship. You don't own a hotel. You don't own a resort. You don't own anything. So therefore, everyone in your industry, all of your competitors, have access to the same product. So you're all selling or representing the same product because you don't own anything. So if that's the case, never a truer word has ever been spoken. The competitive edge is not the product because it's all the same. The competitive edge is you. You are the competitive edge. You're the difference between making a sale and not making a sale. Not the size of the ship, not the cabin, not the view out of the hotel window, not the pool. You're the difference. And if you're the difference, my question is, are you taking care of you? Now, Olympic athletes take care of themselves. They eat right, they exercise right, and they sleep right. Now, I'm not going to be selling you vitamins here, but are you getting enough sleep? You're the edge. You're the difference. You're it. You're the product. Are you taking care of you? Are you exercising? Are you sleeping enough? And are you eating right? Those are three important questions that only you can answer. And are you setting goals? Are you setting goals that you can achieve? Not January 1st goals that don't mean anything. Are you setting goals that are realistic? Here's one for you. Once a week. That's realistic. Once a week, thank somebody in a handwritten card that has made a difference in your business or in your life. Now, you can do that if that was your goal. And I strongly suggest it becomes your goal. And then teamwork, of course. You can't do it alone. You have your preferred suppliers, you have your friends, you have your family, you have your coaches, mentors, whatever it is you have. You can't do it alone. Use your team. Use them. That's not a bad word. We can't do it alone today. I wrote a not a scathing post, but a post. I said, look, collaboration is the name of the game. Helping people today is the name of the game. So get into a group and help people because it's tough out there. So with that, let's move on to the next slide. I'll get rid of this and we'll hit that. Why is attitude so important to an Olympic athlete? Well, because if not you, who? I mean, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have confidence in yourself, if you don't think you can do it, if you don't think you've done your homework and practiced and researched and are ready for this game, if you don't feel that way, who's going to feel that way? You've got to have confidence in yourself. And your self doubt, where your self doubt's coming from, is knowing that you didn't do what you're supposed to. You know what you need to do. I don't have to tell you what to do. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. You already have all the tricks. You just know that maybe you're not doing it or enough. Because once you do enough, once you do enough, read enough, practice enough, study enough, once you do that, your confidence level is going to be supreme. And with supreme confidence level comes the attraction. It comes the attraction, the magnetic pull is going to be coming to you. So once you do the work, you'll believe in yourself and other people will believe in you. You'll bring it to them. And the last point I wanted to just make on that slide was positive visualization. And positive visualization is, where do you want to be 5 years from now? What does your company want to look like next year? Picture that, because that's what Olympic athletes do. That's what PGA golfers do. Is they envision hitting the ball before they hit it. They see the track, they see the arc, they see the race unfold in front of their very eyes, and now they see it. They see them crossing the finish line, and then they do it. So positive visualization. The Olympic athletes do it, and I suggest that you do it. And here's a slide on coaching. And let me just pause a moment there. And Margaret, I said I was going to call on you, Margaret. And here I am. Margaret, if you will just tell me, are you looking at the coaching slide? And if you can still hear me. Okay. Coaching slide. And can you still hear me? That's what I'm just waiting for a little. Yes. Hey, thank you, Margaret. Margaret, how good is that? You gave for the report. Mike Marshev Olympics comes back as invalid. Okay, now, if you do www.mikemarshev.com/Olympics, I think that's where we went wrong there. So someone just sent in a message saying I gave them a bogus URL. It's www.mikemarshev.com/Olympics. I think that'll straighten that out. Okay. And Margaret, thanks for being with me. All champions have one. They're coaches, and the reason why is because they can help you spot weaknesses, and they can help you spot your strengths. And a comment on that is, I strongly recommend that you find your strengths, know what you like to do, know what you're good at, and make those strengths stronger. Don't spend time making weaknesses stronger, because your weakness, if you practice and work on a weakness, the best you're going to get is a mediocre weakness. I want you to play your trump card. Go to your strengths, play your strong suit, do what you do best, and keep honing that area. And they develop a strategy and they help reinforce and enforce. They say, hey, have you done your objectives? Have you sent that card out today? Why not? Have you done your push-ups? Have you done your sit-ups? Why not? I mean, why do you think so many people today have personal coaches to lose weight? I mean, you know how to lose weight. Stop eating. Exercise more, stop eating, you'll lose weight. Calories in, calories out. Send in your $5. That's all you need to know. Never trust a person who won't call you a blankety blank to your face. I love that phrase. I mean, you want people who are going to talk straight to you, not pat you on the head and not coddle you. A coach is going to tell you, you want to be the best? Here's how we're going to do it. Fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay. Hey, and there's the URL right in front of you there. You forgot to put the .com in. I think that's why it came back at you. I hope that's why. Okay. And we practice and we read and we study and we have coaches and we do everything that's right. And sometimes it still doesn't work. Why is that? Because it's called life. Life is unfair sometimes. I mean, you can do everything right and still come up a loser. I mean, that's just the way it is. And that is called emotional intelligence, knowing how the game is played. You're in the big leagues, folks. You're in the big leagues. Now, the Olympics, they're really cool, but in a sense, they're the amateur league still. You're in the eating regularly business, send kids to school, buy insurance. You're in the big leagues. And you have to have emotional intelligence, and you're going to fall down. I'm telling you, you're going to fall down. And watch the Olympics. There's no guarantees. They fall down. You win, you lose, you practice, you do everything right, and you still fall down over 4 years. And at times you feel all alone. Look at this woman. Now, she has 12,000 people looking at her, but that's on show day. The last 4 years, this woman was running at midnight all alone. And that's when you need your support group. That's when you don't want to be lonely. Now, I call up a good friend of mine, Nolan Burris. I know you know the name. Stuart Cohen. I know you know the name. Scott Keff. These are guys that I know that I call them up all the time. We talk back and forth. And we pick each other up because we're human. We're just like you. But we have a support group. And you need a support group. And Olympics need a support group. And that's the way it works. And sometimes this picture, it looks like they're tipped over, but it just was a splashy picture. But how do you overcome unexpected adversity? Now, I want to tell you a little quick story about Michael Phelps. And he was interviewed during the Olympics. He was over in London, and he had finished. And Bob Costas was interviewing him one night, and Phelps shared a story of him running a race, the butterfly. I think it was the 200-meter butterfly. And they have goggles so they can see. You can see the goggles in the picture there. And he dove in to start the race, and his goggles shot up on his forehead and filled up with water. So as soon as he started, he couldn't see. And most people would say, "Oh, what are you going to do?" And you don't fix them. You don't try to get the water out of the goggles, and because you don't have time to do that. This race is fast. He immediately went into plan B. And plan B was he knew, because he practiced enough, that in 27 strokes, he'd hit the wall. So as soon as he dove in, the goggles went up on his forehead, filled up with water, boom, counting 2, 3, 23, 24, 27 strokes, bingo, there was the wall, flipped the do, went back the other way, 27 more strokes, flipperino, back the other way, and he won the race because he went immediately into plan B. And why he went into plan B was because he was rehearsed for plan B. He had practiced plan B. Nothing could affect that guy during showtime. He was ready. He was rehearsed. And that's what you want to do, folks. What happens if the flight doesn't take off? What happens if there's a hurricane? What happens if the ship goes to a different port? You're paid your management fee because you're going through these what if scenarios. Now, hopefully the goggles don't fill up with water, but if they do, I know what to do. And firemen do that. When they're not putting out fires, they're rehearsing what they're going to do if there is a fire. And they know what to do because they practice it. It's called the what if scenario. So that's what you're going to do, and that's how you earn your money. If things go smooth, hey, great, have a nice trip, perfect. But when it goes wrong, you're ready to go into plan B. This person in the red jacket won a gold medal. The horse did all the jumping. Message: you need a good horse, folks. I think they interviewed a jockey once. They said, how'd you win the race? He says, I got on top of a fast horse. That's how you win the race. I mean, if you see these athletes, they want to be traded to a team because the team is going to go to the Super Bowl. So they kind of get on a new horse because they figure this horse will get us where I want to go. Well, your horse is your family, your employees, your organization, your preferred suppliers. I mean, if you don't have good preferred suppliers, let's call them horses. If you don't have a good horse, you're not going anywhere. If you don't have good clients, you're not going anywhere. You need good horses. And that's preferred suppliers, family, organization, employees. Um, what else? You got to be a good horse too, some reliable, but you got to have an organization that's strong, like a good horse. I hope that's clear. I mean, if you're dealing with clients that aren't good, get rid of them. If you're dealing with preferred suppliers who are letting you down, go find a new preferred supplier. And if somebody insists on using them, say, "Well, I'm sorry, I can't use that. You have to go to somebody else." Because I only deal with the strong, good people, good organizations. That's all I deal with. And then sometimes you take one on the chin, don't you? Bingo. Where'd that come from? You're standing upright. Next thing you know, you're looking at the sky. Bingo. You didn't even know it was coming. You get knocked down. Well, you're going to get knocked down. You're going to get whacked in the head. You're going to get blindsided. Things are going to happen to you. And you're going to be ready for them. You know it's going to happen. So you're not going to jump ship. You're not going to quit. I've heard travel agents say, I've tried everything. Why did I get into this business? It's so competitive. There's no money in it. The people, they change their plans. They go through 2 hours of booking them, and then they don't go on the trip, or they change. Well, hey, listen, that's the game we're in. That's it. So don't quit. Play the game and keep on running. Keep on running. That's what people do. That's what runners do. That's what Olympic champions do. And the 50, 25, 80, I want to explain what those numbers are. Most people quit after the first contact. 50%, that's where the 50 comes from. 50% of salespeople quit after they try to sell something once. Somebody says no, bingo, they go away. 25% quit after the second contact. They try it again, doesn't work, they go away. So that translates to 75% of your competition quit after two contacts. 50 after one, 25 after two, add them up, that's 75. So 75% quit after two contacts, but 80% of sales happen after the fifth contact. Now that makes sense because it takes time to build trust. It takes time to like somebody. So 80% of sales happen after 5 contacts, but 75% of people quit after 2 contacts. And that simply means that they don't understand how the game is played. So let them quit. Good for them. You don't quit though. You be wearable. You hang around. You keep bringing something to the relationship. And over time, I will come to like you unless you do something stupid. I will then come to trust you because you've been around, you're wearable, you're there. You're consistent, you're reliable, and I'll do business with you. And sometimes you just run out of gas. Sometimes you just say, that's it, I'm done, I've finished, my tank's emptied. And so do Olympic athletes run out of gas. And what do? You lie down, you look at the sky, you take 3 deep breaths, then someone hands you their hand, you get up again, and then you practice some more. Same thing in football. You get knocked down, the wind's knocked out of you, you lie there for 10 seconds, a guy comes over, and gives you your hand, you're up back in the huddle, let's play ball. So don't overreact when your body says, I'm done. There could be a lot of reasons. You're not prepared, you're not healthy enough, who knows what the reasons are. But the game is, if you ever play golf is so funny. It's the hardest game in the world. You hit a ball. I hate this game. Why do I pay $50 to go? I hate this game. What am I doing out here? And you keep hitting these shots that are just terrible shots. And you hate the game. And you say, why am I doing this? And all of a sudden you hit one shot pure. and it goes straight, and it bounces and goes on the green. And what do you say? I love this game. I loved it. This is the greatest game in the world. Well, business works the same way. I hate this game. I hate this game. I hate this game. I love this game. Well, you love it when you help people. You'll love it when your client comes back and says, Mike, that was the best trip I've ever had. Thank you so much for all the work you've done. That's when you love it. So my message to you is go do more neat things so people will say neat things to you, and then you'll love the game more. That's how that works. Hey, speed wins, folks. Speed wins. Bolt here. This guy is one fast human being. And in car racing, in horse racing, and in human racing, speed wins. Fast wins. And my question to you is, where can you become faster? How can you become faster? Faster in the start, faster at the finish, faster in answering my emails, faster in answering the phone, faster in giving me the promises you promised me, faster in offering an apology if you make a mistake. How can you become faster in your business? And I want you to think about different areas where you can become fast. And do not think that business does not work the same way, because it does. Speed wins. If you call me and you get my voicemail and I call you back in a week, you feel like you're not important to me. If I call you back in 3 days, then and Mike called me back in 3 days. Good for him. Not important. But if I called you back in a minute, you would say, hey, I must be important to Mike because he called me right back. Now, here's one for you that's a little stretch. You have a tendency to call business people back pretty fast, maybe. I'm not suggesting you do, I'm guessing here. But if your relatives called you, you'd say, I'll call them back when I get home, I'll call them back tomorrow, I'll call them back Monday. I think this is safe, that we have a tendency to put our relatives on the back burner versus our business associates on the front burner. And I just want you to question that logic. Okay? Your loved ones are your loved ones. When your children call them back. When your husband or wife call them back. The faster you call them back, the faster you're telling them how much they mean to you. So that's just an aside. Okay. And celebrate your victories. Look at these people. When the soccer team wins or scores a goal, don't they jump? They slide across the grass. They jump on each other. They mug each other because they just scored. Every time there was a point in beach volleyball, they slap hands. That's like a little celebration, like good shot. And the teams, they come together and they celebrate their victories. And in business, I don't think we do that enough. I think it's a business as usual, stiff upper lip. Business, you're supposed to do it that way. No. It's too hard. It's too hard. You exert too much into this game not to celebrate your victories. Now, whatever those victories are, I want you to go get a 6-pack of beer, go get pizza, go get whatever you get, and celebrate the victories, because they don't come that easy. And when you celebrate stuff, I want to do that. Celebrating's fun. Let's do it some more. Let's win some more. Let's go get another account. So don't not celebrate. The Olympic, look at the girls, look, they're happy that they celebrate. And teamwork. You can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. So you've got to rely on your team. You got to be in the right spot. You got to know that they're in the right spot. You got to know what your wingman is. You got to know people are behind you. You got to trust them. It's all about teamwork. And if you're a one-man band like I am, working from home, then you use your preferred suppliers. You use your network. You use your organization as your team. But you got to have a good horse. Remember that. This, to me, is one of the best slides I have in this whole program, and that is get over your hurdles in life. Now, the race you're looking at here, is not a race of jumping over things. The race is from start line to finish line based on speed. The fastest person who leaves the start line and crosses the finish line wins. Now, to make it interesting, we're going to put these things you got to jump over. But your speed comes when your feet are on the ground. You're not fast while you're floating in the air. You're fast when your feet are on the ground. So the strategy is to get your feet, this guy's right foot, to get that right foot back on the ground as fast as he can, because as soon as that right foot gets on the ground, he now can accelerate and go fast again. The same thing holds with you and your business. You are going to have hurdles. This is not a 100-meter dash without hurdles. This is a hurdle race you're in. There's going to be problems that you have to get over, concerns or issues. And the secret is to get over them quickly. Don't linger on them. Get over them, deal with them, fix them, get them behind you fast so that you can get on the ground running again. This is a great, great slide, as is this next one. And this is the swimming slide, and that is speed in swimming is not the number of strokes you take. You don't see swimmers flailing away in the water saying, I took 48,000 strokes from wall to wall. Speed in swimming comes from the distance gained per stroke. That's why they're so methodical. That's so they're streamlined and fluid. Same thing in speed skating. In these long distance speed skaters, they don't flail away skating like banshees. They skate, glide to the left. Their hands are behind them. They glide to the right. And then they glide to the left because it's the distance gained per glide, per leg stroke. Same with swimming. So how it relates to you is it's the distance you cover per effort, per piece of effort. I said earlier, I did one webinar. I maximized it by doing 6. You call someone up, you maximize that call. You go someplace, you maximize. You attend a trade show, you maximize. So it's you think leverage. If you're going to go somewhere, you're going to deliver a ticket downtown. What can I do while I'm downtown? If I'm going to a trade show, what can I do while I'm in New Orleans? So it's maximizing each and every piece of effort is going to get you further ahead. And sometimes it pays to look at things from a different angle. We have to remain flexible. We have to remain resilient, if you will. Resilience is probably a good word because things aren't going to go our way. And I thought this little slide here would help us think about that. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and there's truth to the Miley Cyrus song. I love that song, and it's called "The Climb." It's not about getting there. It's not standing on top of the mountain. It's the journey to get to the top of the mountain. If you pay attention to the journey, when I ran in the well, I ran a couple of long distance races. One was the New York Marathon, and one was the Ironman. I competed in the Ironman, and I didn't win either one. And I didn't necessarily thought I could win either one, but I enjoyed each one of those. I didn't throw up. I didn't get carried to the hospital. I enjoyed that journey because I knew I was only going to do it a couple of times in my life. So I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to race so hard that I don't enjoy it. And this was terrible. I'm not going to train so hard not to enjoy it. Well, you have one life, folks. Your job is to enjoy that life. You have a business. Your job is to enjoy the business. Take the ups, take the downs, take the whacks in the head, take it all in because that's the journey. And life is a sine wave. Make no mistake about it. If you're going up, you'll soon be coming down. Trust me. And if you're going down, trust me, you'll soon be going up. It's a sine wave of ups and downs. It's the journey. It's a roller coaster, as cliche as that might sound. And keep your excuses to a minimum. Look at this guy. This guy lost his legs before he was age 10. He's the South African. Can you picture him being 10 years old, not having legs, saying to his parents, I think I'm going to be in the Olympics? What do you think they'd tell him? I'm not going to tell him he can't be in them. You tell him. I'm not telling him. I mean, this guy, he made a decision. He had a mission. He took action. This boy's in the Olympics. And look at the odds against him. Don't tell me, folks, you can't build a business. Don't tell me you can't be successful. Tell me you don't want to be. Tell me you don't want to pay the price to be. But don't ever tell me you can't be. because you can be. Keep well any excuse you have, please keep it to yourself or keep it to a minimum because you embarrass yourself. You can do what you want to do if you make up your mind to do it, if you pay the price to do it, and if you do the action steps required to do it. And you look at men like this, and boy, you tell me you can't do something, I kind of get upset. Hey, and you got to keep your balance. Look at this. Sometimes life just doesn't seem fair. Look at that one. I mean, that's little Gabby, and I don't know anything about the balance beam, but I'm pretty sure that you're not supposed to be looking at that side of the beam. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me on that. I have a funny feeling she's supposed to be on the other side of that beam. But this happens to Olympic gold. This woman is an Olympic gold medal winner, and she is looking at the bottom of the beam. But she doesn't quit, and she has a gold medal. I mean, that is a great story. And if you're really lucky, maybe who knows? I haven't got on a box cover yet or cornflake cover. Maybe you have, but that'd be pretty cool myself. But look, there she is right there. Incredible. You just don't quit. You're in the game. You keep going. And the last remarks here, we're going to end up in about 50 minutes. This is pretty good timing. You give before you get. You're not give yourself, give information, give a special report, write a special report like this one. This is 12 words that have the power to change your life for the better. You can have that free. Go to MikeMarchev.com/Olympics. It'll come right into your mailbox. Bingo, bingo. But you can write a special report on Bermuda, on honeymoons, on cruises, on anything. 10 pages. This is the information that you need. Only 10 pages. And ask for it, and I'll be happy to give it to you. And when people do ask for your information, you give it to them. You give it to them because that's going to help, number one, make you visible. They're going to know who you are. Then they're going to like you because the information is good, and they're going to trust you. And before you know it, you're going to be doing business with them. And the last thing I want to just remember, this is kind of like a little a nugget reminder. Target your audience. Tell me who you want to do business with, and then we can go make that happen. If you don't target your audience, it makes life very difficult. I want to know who you want to dance with, who you want to marry, who you want to do business with. And once you know that, we can go make that happen until it doesn't happen. But at least we have a game plan. Define your message. What is it you want to say? What message do you want to impart on people? And here's the message. I make my business by helping people make better travel-related decisions. That's my message. I help you make better decisions when it comes to leaving town and spending money. That's what I do. Through my contacts, my preferred suppliers, my experience, I can help you make better decisions when you go out into the world away from your comfort zone. And you decide your contact procedure. Seminars, webinars, emails, sales letters, cruise nights, trade shows. There's a zillion different ways for you to contact people. You decide how you want to do that. And then you develop a consistent approach based on your strengths. And then you follow up and follow up and follow up forever and ever and ever, because people aren't ready to buy when you're ready to sell. They're ready to buy when they're ready to buy. So you have to be visible over time. And lastly, you have to enjoy the journey, because that's what it is. I mean, this is really cool. There's people in corporate America who would love to be in your shoes, an entrepreneur. You're in a game that every single body has a reason to learn about. It's not like you're selling automobiles or computers or washing machines. Everybody, I don't care who you are, they travel or they dream about travel, and that's your business. Honeymoons and Disney and Bermuda and cruises. You're in the greatest business there is, and everybody uses it. So don't tell me you can't double your business, because I know you can. You just have to go out and do more of the right things to more of the right people and become more visible. That's what you have to do. Okay, so with that, let me just go to the next slide here. The 10-page report. There's MikeMarchev.com/Olympics. Don't forget the .com. That's what we went wrong last time. And I want to thank you, everybody, today for taking time out of your busy day to listen to me. And I think, I'm not sure, I haven't talked to Carl about this yet, but I think I'll get this down into some kind of a MOV document, give it to Travel Institute so maybe they can put it up on their intranet so the people who couldn't come today will still have a shot at listening if they want. So, I'm going to go over to the questions. Does anybody have any questions now? You can write those in the question box because um, that's what you can do. You can write any questions you have in the question box. Thank you, Gay, for your little note there. Um, let's see. I'm new. Okay, I'm going to have to read Jennifer's. It's a little lengthy, so I'm going to have to go into reading that a little bit later. Keep on running, Mike. I'm a new agent. Many friends come to me and travel with ideas, so I continue to attempt to serve these folks. All right, hold on a second. Here's a question. Let's deal with this. Um, I'm a new agent. Many friends come to me for travel ideas and planning, but go to an experienced agent to finalize. Should I continue to attempt to serve these folks? Um, yeah, the answer is yes. Yeah, the 5 or more attempts, yes, because you're going to get experienced as time goes on. Yes, hold on. Your new agents, hold on to them. Understand you. We all learn. We all start at a point where we don't know third base from the dugout, but we're going to study it. And the fastest way to learn something is when somebody asks a question and we don't know. I mean, that's the fastest way to learn something. And you're going to increase your knowledge base exponentially. So yes, hold on to people and go back to them. Yes, the answer is yes. And that's the last question I had. Wait a minute, let's see. Is there any other questions? I think that's it. Do, 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 do. No, I think that is just about all. So we will end this right now. And I want to thank you. Hey, my email is mike@mikemarshev.com. It's mike@mikemarshev.com. If you enjoyed the program, shoot me an email because I like to know that we hit the nail on the head. And if you didn't like the program, send me an email, and because I like to know where we can make it better next time. So mike@mikemarshev.com. It's about 5 minutes of 2. So I'm going to say thanks for coming, and we're going to end the program right now. Thanks, folks.